Our lead story now. Valentino Grootetjie will be laid to rest today. The 5-year-old Lavender Hill boy was shot dead during an alleged gang shootout just last weekend. He was standing outside the kitchen door of his family home. Monique Mortlock is keeping an eye on proceedings for us. She's outside the Levana Primary School at the moment. Monique, this is where the funeral of Valentino Grootetjie will take place shortly.
Yes, Marcel, the funeral is set to start at 8 a.m. We have seen a strong contingent of police in the area. We've seen a Nyala. We've also seen an army tank. And I'm just going to step out of shot just so that my colleague can show you the police minister has also arrived, Police Minister Becky Cele. So I'm just going to step out of shot so you can see, as you can see, we have police officers, we have the police minister. He is in his vehicle. We were hoping to chat to him, but I think he most likely is wanting to get inside so that he's not late for when the funeral actually starts. We were at the house earlier, if you'll remember, and as I was chatting to you, people were slowly starting to trickle in, and in that hour after we last spoke to you, we saw about like dozens of family, friends, neighbours, community members streaming into the house just to pay their respects, along with Cape Town Mayor Dan Plato and the different ward councillors in the area. So really a strong support system for the family. As I mentioned to you earlier, they have received donations and help just to ensure that Valentino gets the burial that he deserves.
The loss of a life of this little 5-year-old, bringing into sharp focus yet again the gang-related scourge that has really tightened its grip on the Cape Flats, even in a year where we've seen the SANDF being deployed to various parts of Cape Town. What are we hearing from the community there? Are they seeing any headway being made in law enforcement authorities trying to make some kind of dent in gang-related activities and indeed violence?
Not at all, Marcel. They believe that the deployment of the army hasn't been effective. They say they hardly see the army tank. When the army tank, when we saw it roaming around in the street, some of the kids were so excited, saying, "Okay, guys, the army tank." So clearly, it's something that hasn't become as normal as community members first thought it would be, having this deployment of the army in the area, having a strong contingent of police officers on a regular basis to hopefully curb the gang violence. This is something that they haven't seen. Some community members told us this is the first time that we've seen so many police officers, and it's obviously for a funeral, and obviously because the police minister is here, this is what they believe. This is the only reason why they are seeing this high contingent of a police presence in the area, and this is something that we will be asking the police minister about, just the effectiveness of the anti-gang unit, the effectiveness of police officers in an area like Lavender Hill, just to give you a sense of how bad the problem is. Valentino's death wasn't the only one. We've had a couple of other shootings this week in Ravensmead on Christmas Day, and also in the Mitchells Plain area. So we've seen several shootings happening from the time Valentino was shot and killed last Saturday up until the 26th of December, Boxing Day. So it's not only Lavender Hill that's facing this problem, it's different areas along the Cape Flats. And Cape Town Mayor Dan Plato has just arrived. I just want to chat to him for a second, Marcel, before the funeral begins. Mayor, obviously it's not a great time to be gathered on a Saturday for something like this. Just tell us what were your sentiments to the family? I saw you going in there earlier.
Yes, shocking. They are very, very distraught with the death of their son. a shocking incident for the whole of Lavender Hill. I'm just very grateful for the support the family received. Lots of people walking in and out, pay their respects. I think that is the right thing to do. But at the end of the day, everybody was of the opinion more needs to be done. The issue is we have SAPs, we have Metro Police, we have law enforcement, now we have the army deployed, and the shootings just continue. The question is, where is it going to end? And I heard the national minister is of the opinion there's a decline in the murder rate. Let's hope it is indeed the case, but we will have to continue with our efforts to put a damper on the ongoing shootings. It just doesn't stop. And if our current measures is not working, we, government as a whole, will have to come up with something else.
You're probably the wrong person to ask about this, and it's a question I will be asking the police minister later on as well. We always hear words like politicians saying they are shocked. We condemn it in the strongest terms, but yet children still get killed. Valentino, he was killed just by playing in his backyard. He wasn't even in the streets. In all likelihood, he was supposed to be safe. From government side, from City of Cape Town side, what more can you do? The
issue is, with all the deployments in the streets, when the SAPS vehicle is around the one corner, they begin to shoot. Point is, what I cannot understand is it is people known to the family. Two of them appeared in court yesterday, but the information I received, even for this morning from the public, it is the shooters living a couple of doors from there. They know the family, they know the children, they shoot. I think one needs to look at the mindsets of the gangsters, the mindsets of people. Why is it that they kill their own, that they wipe out their own? Yes, I agree. And I want to repeat myself. If what we are doing today, and that includes the City of Cape Town, but it includes government as well, if that is not good enough, we need to come up with measures that can really assist us in dealing with gangsterism on the Cape Flats in a much more decisive manner.
And when will those measures come up?
Look, there's measures. You look the deployment of the army. The national minister, you will talk to him later on. He released a statement in the week that there's a decline. We will have to see what and how. We will have to analyze that decline. But if that decline according to our standards is not enough, we will have to get back to the drawing board and that sort of thing. It's continued planning and measures coming up from our side to try our best to deal with these matters. But what parents have said to me this morning, and that is the other side of the coin, the shooters went home. They were protected. Everybody in that block of flats knew exactly where they were. They did not warn the police, and that is the other side of the coin. How the public protect the killers, protect the gangsters, protect the drug lords, and so we need the community as a whole, their assistance as well to deal with these issues. It cannot only want to be government alone.
Thank you very much, Mayor. There you heard from Cape Town Mayor Dan Plato explaining what the family told him, what he heard from community members, that these suspects, that they were known to the family. They are shooters who were apparently protected by residents. But something that we have heard time and time again in communities like these, and what I've heard from neighbours here in Drudi Court, in Lavender Hill, is that sometimes they don't often trust the police. They don't trust that going to police with this information, that they'll be able to ensure their protection. So that's the other side of the coin, and this is something that we will be discussing with Police Minister Becky Cele later today. Those two suspects did appear in court yesterday, and they will be appearing again on the 23rd of January there, and they will remain in custody until then.
And unfortunately, a narrative that we've heard for far too long, for many decades and generations, and we haven't seen any change since. Thank you so much for that. Monique Mortlock with the very latest from Levana Primary School, where little 5-year-old Valentino Grootetjie's funeral will take place. Another little box, another white coffin, a symbol of the gang-infested areas of Cape Town.